All right, welcome back to another podcast episode of Behind the Logo. I'm here with our CEO and co-founder again, Elizabeth Moon. Elizabeth, thanks for joining.
Absolutely, this is fun.
I know that we have taken a hiatus. There's been a lot going on since our last episode. We lost our co-producer, Catherine, to college, unfortunately. Hope that she's having a good time out there and that she sees this. Exactly. Hi. What else has been going on? I know right now as we're recording, it's All Staff Week.
Right.
What else have we been up to in the past month?
I mean, it's been really, I would say, we did that in July. I'm trying to remember exactly when we did that.
It was probably about a month and a
half ago. Yeah, no, it's been a great, I would say, end of summer into the beginning of, now the end of September, honestly. Yes, this is All Staff Week, so we've been gearing up for that. But we've also closed on some pretty big projects around here, including a complete Teams phone conversion for one of our clients.
Yep.
As well as doing several multi-factor authentication projects.
Okay. I've been hearing some back and forth.
Yeah, there's been like 3 of them that we've run concurrently with 3 different clients that all going really well and I'm excited about. But yeah, that's been taking up a lot of our project team time. And then our help desk has just been singing. I am so thrilled with our help desk that they are making everything go every day. So it's been great. It's been busy.
We're running a little competition right now as well.
We are.
Right? It's Team Fred versus Team Jasmine.
Team Fred versus Team Jasmine, just to get the audience up to date. Jasmine is our senior IT solutions manager. She has a team, and our IT solutions supervisor, Fred Reed, has a team, and probably 2 of the more competitive people in the building. And their teams are going head-to-head on ticket closure and client service.
Well, that's awesome. I'm excited to see. I know that there's some prizes on the
there
line.
And they're secret, so I can't share that today.
Maybe in the next episode we
will let you know
what the prizes were.
For those of you out here, just to let you guys know, the team member with the most 5-star or 5-point surveys gets an extra special prize this week, so please be sure to fill out your surveys. They do play a role.
Well, I'm not sure we'll get that out.
We may not get it out.
We might not. We're still working out some kinks, which is also part of the reason we haven't recorded another episode. So thanks for staying tuned if you are watching this.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
For the next time, those surveys do play a role. We do read them.
Yeah, I know that yesterday you had this we had this nice all staff, everybody was in the conference room and you were talking about leading with service. You want to go into a little bit about that conversation or where your mind was at?
Sure. I've been spending a lot of time personally in my own leadership development and training and really practice looking at and thinking about leading with service, and that anyone can lead. And sometimes leading with service means just doing that one small thing, either for your coworker or one of our clients or someone in the community. That leadership is not a title, that it is most definitely about the actions we take every day. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I really wanted to share with our team that I was thinking about in my own professional life and wanted to share with them and talk to them about how it relates to working with our clients and each other.
Right. I mean, that was a great message. And I know that some people were excited and had some ideas about how we could get out there, especially when it comes to not only serving on the IT segment, but also just serving in the community as a whole.
Right. I was thrilled to hear that our team really, I know, and you've been so instrumental, so instrumental in getting us into some of the community service projects we've done lately. And I was really thrilled to see the level of interest from members of our team wanting to look for opportunities to serve in our Alexandria community as well as in their own communities where they live.
Right. Yeah. Because I know that we've run a coat drive last winter as well as a canned food drive this summer.
Right.
This summer, especially because a lot of people, I feel like, wait till the holiday season, which is creeping up now, to collect food, but they need food all the year, it's not just during the holiday season that people are hungry. It's year round. So it's good to do that. And I think that we're talking about potentially doing something in person finally. I know that we have one more all staff coming up in December. So hopefully we can get some good participation from our staff out there. But that kind of plays into, I know that you wanted to touch upon our staff, right? A little bit more about the staff and how it's set up and designed, because obviously we want to be the leading IT managed service provider. We want to have the best IT support. but that's not everything that we look for, right?
No, it's not. And I will say up front, and you know this because we talk about it so much, Focus Data Solutions is its team. It is based upon the people who work here. It is the people who work here who make it successful and who deliver on that message of service that I was working on. And we do look for a lot more than certifications. And building this team over the last 22 years has been really a process and a learning process in some instances, and in other instances, just finding the right combination of people and skills and abilities to be able to serve the client base that we have.
Right. And I know that we have several members of our team that are now on the IT team that didn't start off in IT, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what I like to call one of the beauties of being a small company and serving small companies. We have 2 people who work for us right now who started as our client services coordinator. So for many of you, you should be thinking about the receptionist, the person in the front desk, the person you see first when you walk in. We've got 2 employees who started there, worked through really helping us to dispatch tickets, and one of them now runs our entire IT team, and the other one is running our proactive team, which is our really behind the scenes security, backup, disaster recovery team. And they both started, and I will add, they're both women.
Yes.
They are both women. They both started in a different place and then worked their way up over a number of years.
Well,
not even up, just through.
Right.
I don't even like the notion of up. They worked their way through and got to where they are now.
Jasmine's one of them, right?
Jasmine Bazemore, our
so,
senior IT solutions manager,
is leading the competition. I don't think she's leading. I think Fred is actually leading right now.
Fred right now is leading. It's been going back and forth. So I'm not going to.
But she just celebrated her 9th anniversary at Focus Data Solutions.
She's been here 9 years. And Tamara Tom is our other one, our proactive service manager, and we hired her out of George Mason University. And she actually was Take a Patriot to Work Day.
Wow.
She came here on a 3-day, I forgot how long it was, it might have been 1 day, and we hired her out of college.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you mentioned both of them, obviously female, and we are a female-owned, veteran-owned account page. Is that something you take into account, or when you're looking for talent, or is that something that you take pride in as
Well, I
CEO?
certainly take pride in a couple of things. Number one, that we do encourage women to apply here. I think I feel pretty safe saying we are one of the most women-centric IT firms I'm aware of in this area, at least in Alexandria, this area, but abroad. I mean, really, almost every function in this office has got a woman running it somewhere.
Right. With our reception, with our account management, with our IT solutions team, proactive solutions, our IT manager.
If I can get a female principal engineer, I'm all there. So I am very proud of that.
Is that an ad out there?
Yeah, that's an ad. Yeah, absolutely. But no, I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that we are that woman-centric. But is it what we look for? No. I mean, it's not the defining characteristic. I would say a lot of the things that we look for, first and foremost, is the ability to communicate. That is so important in a managed services firm, that everyone in this building, I say building because we're all here today, but everyone, we're usually not, we're on hybrid remote. But everyone on the team can talk to and hold a conversation and explain technical matters without the jargon, without the lingo, that they can make someone feel comfortable discussing their IT and their IT situation. There are a lot of IT professionals who are brilliant, but they can't work and they can't communicate as well as someone who has those skills.
Right.
So when we do our initial screenings, it's everything from the cover letter, which we do still personally read every cover letter. It is how well the resume is written. And because we read, if anyone who thinks that Focus Data is running algorithms, we're not running algorithms right now. And then how comfortable are you on the phone? We do a phone screening first and foremost. And do you pick up the phone? Do you answer it professionally? Can you converse on a telephone? Because almost everyone in this building is on the phone, including you.
Right.
At some point in their day or in their professional life here. And it's communication skills are first and foremost. And I would argue sometimes before technical.
Well, especially since I know that a lot of the people that we service are technical.
Right.
And it helps being able to not speak, I guess, nerd or tech.
Let's just say tech.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry to
that's
offensive to anybody.
Let's just say tech.
Talk tech to people because obviously people are coming with situations or problems that they have and they don't necessarily know how to explain it, but our tech team has to make do with what they get and then resolve it.
And let's circle back, which I think we'll probably do a couple times today. Let's circle back to that notion of service.
Mm-hmm.
A service our team can provide to a person who is not technical is making that path easy for them when they're having a problem.
Right.
That is huge to me, that they can, without creating undue stress for our end users, talk about an IT issue. That is a form of service. That is a form of leading.
Yeah. And I know that in our previous episode, we talked about the growth, obviously, of Focus Data Solutions a little bit. And now we're talking a little bit more in depth about the staff. How did you decide to build up the IT staff and, versus the support staff? Or obviously there's probably a lot of crossover at the beginning where people were, running around and wearing several hats.
Yeah, we like to say wearing a lot of hats.
Wearing a lot of hats.
So really, I would say the first underlying principle, and we are 22 years old, so let's talk about the first thing. Number one is that we have from the beginning had a plan that our growth would be slower than most people in an IT-centric community like what we are. Think about where we're like one of the second, the DC area is the second highest concentration of IT professionals. Might be third. I don't remember, but it's somewhere in there.
Was San Francisco first and then Washington, D.C.? That makes sense. I mean, from my recruiting background, but I mean, because there's a lot of tech jobs in the government, right?
But the general thought process is, okay, you're a startup, you're going to scale, you're going to go fast, you're going to build up, and you're going to sell. Right. That was never Focus Data Solutions' journey on purpose. Paige Moon, who, yes, is my husband, but also our co-founder and CIO, Paige Moon started with the notion that he wanted to be of service to people. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to know his clients. He wanted to work with his clients. He wanted to have relationships and be a part of their growth. He comes from a small town background.
Right.
And he was looking for work that could continue that feeling for him and that small town somewhat. Now, we live in D.C. Let's be realistic.
Alexandria.
Which
is still small town, D.C., right?
You've done a good job. You pick this. But, so our plan has always been Focus Data Solutions would be somewhere between 20 and 35 people, depending on where we were, the contracts we had, and how we worked. Mm-hmm. We pretty much stayed to that. We've been right around 20 now, for the most part. We target companies anywhere between 15 and 100 plus.
Right.
We have built systems and we are efficient that 90-ish% of the time we can get the work done with the team we have in the time we have allotted, and it works. Mm-hmm. And it's allowed us to create an environment and a team here that serves our niche.
Right.
Which is small and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah. Because I think that I mentioned to you that anytime I'm at a networking event or talking to friends or anybody else that I tell them I'm at a small company,
And they're like, oh, you're a startup.
No, well, first of all, they're just like, oh, like, how small? Like, I'm at a small company too, but they're at a 500, 400 person company. It's like, no, I'm at 20.
Well, and
they think that, again,
and
like
let's
you said,
acknowledge the SBA's definition, I think, of a small firm is 500 or less.
Right, correct.
So that definition, depending on where you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and who you're trying to serve, covers a wide swath of.
Which is why when you say small and medium-sized business, what is medium-sized?
Right. Well, for us, really, medium-sized for us really does shoot up to about that 100 end user, 100 person, little over that. That's a medium-sized business for us.
For us, right.
Right.
But not necessarily
the
overall definition of the term. But what, again, you kind of touched upon it, but yeah, again, I always tell them that, no, they always assume, oh, so you're a startup. And it's like, no, we're at 20 plus and that's intentional. And we've been around for 20 plus years as well. And so you've touched upon a little bit of it, but when it comes to serving our current clients, have you, is our size an issue, or have you noted, what are the kind of the...
I don't feel like our size has ever been an issue in terms of the contracts we take on, the clients we take on. we know where our sweet spot is, and we know how to serve that market, and we go to that market. We sell to that market. It is purposeful. It is intentional. It is who we are and what we do.
Right.
And rarely, like I said, I'm like 90-ish. Yeah, most of the time, our staff can pull it off and do it well and efficiently and productively and on budget and on time. Mm-hmm. And that's what more could I ask for out of them?
Right. What if they can't?
What if they can't? No, fair question. And that's one of I think the strong suits of our client account management is that we are very upfront with our clients if we're running behind. It's rare. Yep. But if we are, this is where we're running behind, and this is what the plan is to get us back to where we need to be. And if you've got a deadline, I don't think we've ever missed a client enforced deadline. I really don't. I mean, if the client said, this is it.
That sounds like a challenge.
No, it's not. No. But yeah, no, I mean, we're very upfront about that. If we're running behind or late, we're going to tell you why. But I would like to say it's rare.
How about like growth plans in the future? Obviously, I'm business development manager.
Right.
My goal is to continue to bring on clients.
Right.
If I do my job well, eventually we will continue to grow.
Right.
Right. I know that you've obviously thought about the scenario where I overexceed and really, I break the system. There was one point last year, I think, that we were kind of concerned.
Yeah, we were.
But
well, you were going fast and furious there for a while, and I was like, okay, we've got to do. We actually do, and Dean Schenberg, who is our COO, and we do have what we like to call the plan, and then there's the other plan, which basically is if this happens, we're going to do this, we're going to hire here, this is what we're going to do. If this happens, we're going to hire here, we're going to do this, this is what we're going to do. We try to invest first in IT. Mm-hmm. We are at the point now where we're balancing IT and business development. So our plans right now are how much we think we're well invested here in IT, what do we need to add, and then investing in business development with your team and getting us here, and they're going to go like this. I talk with my hands in line, so I'm sorry, podcast world. No. We're going to go, we're moving forward and kind of like this, but there is always a plan with contingencies in the background and with the right staffing. And sometimes we go heavy on what I like to call our IT support help desk side. Right. Sometimes we look heavier on our project side. We're pretty flat in the middle right now. It's really, we are putting an emphasis on projects moving over the next 3 to 4 to 6 months. We will probably be looking at projects a little more with IT skills, more geared to Microsoft projects, Azure, SharePoint, moving forward this way, and continuing to train and build and develop our IT solutions help desk side.
Do you find it's a seasonal thing when it comes to project work versus, when people are needing more hands-on IT support, or how do we manage that?
I personally don't think it's seasonal.
Okay.
For project work. I think project work is largely driven by the business strategy of the client and where they are in their IT strategy journey with us.
Right.
And they're all in different places based on a lot of different factors. On the IT support side, the day-to-day help desk side, I'll tell you, right before Labor Day, it was pretty quiet around here. Mm-hmm. But we like those quiet times, and they do tend to fall, Labor Day, July 4th, Memorial Day. We get a little quieter in January. So anyone who wants new IT in January, I'm all in. But we do tend to get quieter in January right after the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think projects are not seasonal as much as they are driven by IT business strategy.
Okay. Right. And I know I've been here now 3 years.
3 years. Today's your anniversary.
The anniversary day. Thank you. That there has been some, restructuring or thought behind how we can best serve our clients and where we can position our IT staff. Mm-hmm. I know that Tamara's role as proactive, what's proactive?
She's the proactive manager.
Manager. Right. Was that always a position, or was it you created a team behind her, right?
Yes. So, okay. I have to think. I have to think. So yes, Tamara was originally on the IT solutions team.
Right.
And the IT solutions team did originally encompass everything, including proactive. I've forgotten how many years ago. It's probably 2-3. It's probably right.
Probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right.
Probably.
We did put proactive, which is backup and disaster recovery, cybersecurity, cyber resilience. You can go back and forth with those two, all over in its own area with Tamara managing it. It includes our security awareness training products and services. It includes all the backup work that happens that hopefully none of our clients even think about.
Right.
So the patching, the maintenance, all of that. She is running that with her team, which is 1.5 people under her, exclusively.
Right.
Yeah.
And then is there a specific projects team or?
There is a specific projects team. Right now it's run by Edward McKenna.
Mm-hmm.
He's our project manager. Griff Jones is our principal engineer. And those of you who have been longtime Focus Data Solutions friends and VIPs, Griff is our longest employee. He's been here 15 years.
Wow. Yeah.
He is largely on the projects team. We also have Hamad, who does workstation burn-ins along with help from the IT Solutions team.
Right. And Hamad's responsibility, he's a newer employee, but that's also a newer role that we've created.
Yeah,
if I
can remember the title, it's project coordinator. That's really bad. I can't remember that right now. I think it's project coordinator. But his whole role is moving workstations from burn-in or setup through that process so that we can turn around workstations for our clients as quickly as possible.
Why was that? Why that decision?
Easily. Because if you're on the help desk and you're trying to burn in a machine and work help desk tickets, your brain is going in 2 directions, and it really was not a good mix. And our IT Solutions team told us that.
Right.
That we needed dedicated people on that. So we created that role.
Yep. So even after 23 years, I mean, we're
absolutely.
still shifting
changing
around and always changing, and you guys are trying to find the best solution to service our clients.
Right. I mean, IT is, you know this because it's in all of our marketing copy. IT does not sit still. And it changes, and the way we do things change, and we're evaluating new ways of burning in laptops and new imaging software and new this and new that regularly.
Right.
So no, it's never going to be, we did it 22 years ago and it's the same thing. No.
Well, that makes sense,
no.
Right? What else about our staff? Anything that you'd like to touch upon? Or how about when it comes to more so our clients and how we line them up to best serve our clients, right?
Okay.
Because we have a specific...
We do. We have a tier system. So it's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and principal engineers. Generally, what I will call tier 1 tickets tend to be password resets, things that are pretty quick turnaround, short term, not really complicated. We have an escalation process. So if there's anything that comes in at a tier 1 level and the tier 1 says, you know what, this needs to go, it works its way up on a specific system. Most IT firms work that way.
Mm-hmm.
Most managed services firms work that way in some way, shape, or form. But we also look at matching skill sets. We know on our team who does really good work on distribution lists. We know on our team who does really good work on server troubleshooting or any cloud functions. We know, and we do try to match our tickets to those people as best we can.
Well, I know this week specifically because of our competition that we have, we're trying to keep things as even as possible.
Yes.
And Fred, who normally dispatches the tickets, is off those responsibilities today, so he doesn't load the...
So he can't load the board,
Can you explain, well, number one, what that even means or what dispatching is, but also some of the difficulties that some of our other employees that aren't necessarily doing the board, you know, some of the things, because I know that Dean, our COO, as well as Amanda, our senior account manager, are...
They are dispatching this week.
They are. I have not seen them. I don't know if, what's the correct term. They just seem more occupied than normal, right?
Well, yeah. Okay. So number one, as IT Solutions Supervisor, generally speaking, Fred does all of our dispatching, which is great. He is also a really good technician. Stay tuned, world, because I suspect he will not be dispatching much longer. But
dispatching meaning that he receives the tickets.
He receives
every time that
he receives the tickets. He looks at the issue. He schedules out all of our RT resources. He decides for the most part, and Jasmine backs him up for the most part, who gets what ticket and when, and how we run that board and how we run that schedule.
And a lot of it goes back to what you said, that there are some people in our staff that have more skills, more expertise towards one thing versus the other. So that goes into it, and we have a member of our team that's looking in. To make sure that they are going to the right person, right? There's not just floating around where this person's like, let me pick that.
We don't play ticket roulette. No, Which is also, and I will say this in all sincerity, is one of the reasons why Fred is not dispatching this week.
Right.
Because Team Fred is desperate to win, and Team Fred would give themselves 400 easy tickets and close them all, and that would be the end of that.
Exactly.
But we did split those teams up for this competition week. There's a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, and a principal engineer assigned to each team.
Okay. Right.
So,
and it seems to be fairly even. The last time that I looked, I mean, there's been...
Right before we walked in here, Team Jasmine had caught up. Team Fred was leading for a while there.
Oh.
So we shall see how that ends up. Friday at 4:30 is it.
How do you feel like, I know people watching or people that will listen, watch, have their own situations going on with their office, right? Mm-hmm. We're currently in a hybrid remote, in office 2 times a week.
Right.
And I feel like what we are doing is fairly unique comparatively to what I've heard some other people doing with 1 week a quarter, all staff in staff, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have any friends or anybody that does that.
Right.
What was kind of the thought process that led you into doing this?
Okay.
What are some of the benefits that you might have seen, and then maybe some of the cons as well?
Right. So when coming out of COVID, well, let's just back up 1 second because my brain works literally. When COVID threw us all out, we had a core of 5 people who worked here all the way through COVID. Everyone else was remote. When we came back in, when COVID subsided some and we started coming back to the office, we understood and knew that we now had a team that was accustomed to working from home. We went on a 3-day out, 2-day in hybrid, which we've been running since then. And for the most part, it is successful. What did we lose? So 1, we lost a little bit of flexibility. We lost resources not to be able to bring in. We lost the ability to get to on-sites the way we wanted to. What I missed the most was when we were out is collaboration. What we saw very quickly is some of the conversations that normally happen in an office, and some of which are casual in the kitchen, some of which are out, we weren't having that many of. And we wanted to recapture that while maintaining the 3-day, 2-day, which is where the all-staff week came from.
Right.
Was, okay, we're going to go with 3-2, but we're going to put in 1 week a quarter at the end of every quarter where we'll do training workshops, collaboration, where we try to get everyone in so we can do, and you planned several of them for us, social opportunities for people to get to know each other. And what we saw in the first few was we actually had staff members who had never met each other in person.
Right, because they're working on different days of the week.
Because they were working on different hybrid days, and they had never been in the same room. So for a small company like ours, or relatively small company like ours, that social interaction, that getting to know the people you work with in a face-to-face way, that's what motivated All Staff Week.
Right.
Completely.
Yeah, I definitely makes sense. I fell victim to some of that. Well, I fall victim to it more than others on the IT team based off the fact that I'm my own department. I'm on the first floor, and everybody, all the IT staff's on the second and third floor.
Really, the first 2 years you worked here, I think one of the first all staff, we did a staff picnic or something outside in the parking lot. And I don't think you had met Edward. I don't think you had met in person.
Face to face.
Face to face. Like, and you'd worked here like almost 9 months, I think.
Right. Well, I think that was also the case. We had a former employee, Ed, and that was a meeting of the 2 Edwards.
Right. Oh, that's
for the first time. I remember that cordial greeting that they both had of Edward, nice to meet you.
Right. And that really was one of the, and probably the most substantial motivating factor of the whole thing. I can't downplay enough how valuable all staff weeks are and have been for training, for workshops. Jasmine is running a burn-in workshop like 4 hours today, I think. We don't have that kind of time. And when you're in a remote situation and being able to work tickets and manage, this gives us a lot of opportunities.
Right.
A lot. And the training is really important to us.
Yeah.
And it gives us that time.
Yeah. And I know, as being part of the planning for these weeks, I feel like it's important that we are offering opportunities or offering things that are meaningful for us to come on site, right? because I will say I am a more proponent for hybrid work.
Yes, you are.
As a younger, employee, there are some people in our office that are all for everybody come in at
we definitely
people
have
thrive off
5 day
that.
a week people.
Right.
Yeah.
We have those people. I mean, part of it is I haven't worked a full week. Well, now last quarter, right? But it's adjusting your schedule, right? There's a lot of things that I'm noticing now when I get home that what's more important to me versus other things, right? I have some dishes in my sink versus when I wouldn't. When I work from home, that's not necessarily the case, that I can be more organized, but at the same time, we're able to do things like this now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have all-person meetings. Normally they're all virtual, but it's finally nice to be like, hey, we have a meeting. Let's all meet in the conference room.
Well, and I think
let's all collaborate.
I do believe, as much as we are going to stay on a form of a hybrid, that having that time around a table and being able to focus on the people that you're doing something with and trying to reach a common goal, that face-to-face, I mean, it's a really bad analogy, but I'll make it anyways. It's be like if you were a basketball team and you were trying to practice virtually.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
How do you feel like our current partners, how will they be affected? Do you feel like that they're going to get better service, or do you feel like that there's going to be an increase in productivity? What are some of the ramifications that they can see on their end?
Right. I think, one, having people in office allows us to get to more tickets quickly because we can triage them faster. We can get resources on them faster if something's not going well. We're not trying to find someone on a remote feed to get them off a ticket. So I think that's one of the benefits of being here. I think our clients are going to see more on-site resources quickly. Right. That's probably the biggest.
How many on-sites have we had this week? I know that we've had several.
I don't know the total number.
Not the total number, but I know that we've had several people.
We've had multiple, and we've had the resources to do them.
Right.
And it's also, I'll flip it negatively, which I don't mean to, but we have people who live an hour away from here.
Right.
And clients who are largely inside the Beltway. And to call one of them in to do an on-site when they're on remote because all of our other people are out on remote or on another on-site, I could lose a tech for 3 hours.
Right.
Just with travel.
Well, 2 hours, right?
Well, depending on how
because if they're working for an hour but driving,
right? But as compared to another formula, So I think that's where our clients and our partners are going to see changes that we'll have more resources when we have them in office more.
Okay, right. What's next? We're getting towards the 2024 year.
Yeah, what's next?
What's going on? Especially when it comes to employees.
Well, if we're going to
keep it on employees,
right? We're going to keep it on employees. We're going to keep it on staff. Stay on topic with the 50 other things I'm thinking about all at the same time. But keeping it on employees is number one. Dean and Paige and I have really agreed and are working towards a much more training next year, as well as providing more technical opportunities to our staff, ways for them to grow professionally. I'm also working on what I'm loosely calling a management development track, and I haven't finished it all out, but giving everyone in our team opportunities to learn more about and develop leadership and management skills. So hopefully that's probably a Q2, Q3 plan coming up from a staff perspective. We will hopefully be hiring. So what's our business development,
Yeah, what's the hiring goals, or what are we looking for? Additional tech, additional account management, additional sales, marketing?
We're going to be looking at our projects area, most definitely. So anyone with project experience, we're going to be looking for that. We're also going to be looking at business development. We may stick with our marketing intern /
right.
assistant.
I feel like it worked out well this year. For sure.
It did. So I think we'll probably stick there. But really looking at the project area the most and how we can build that, and our business development area, and then continuing to grow as our business grows.
Right.
So that's the general.
Right now we have a quasi-executive assistant with Dean's son roaming around.
I am a very strong proponent, because I grew up in a family business, that we hire family and friends in jobs that are appropriate.
Right.
So various people have worked through here, interned here, and we're excited to give Aiden a part-time job while he starts his first year of college.
Well, what is his? I don't even know. We haven't done the proper onboarding. You know,
Dean's miscellaneous person.
Executive assistant.
No, just to give you an example, Aiden in the last since Nova started, Northern Virginia Community College, Aiden has done everything from counting machines when we have to do billing to he's learning how to spec out machines. He took part in the Jasmine's workstation burn-in workshop today.
Right.
He just picked up Dean's lunch.
Yeah.
I think because Dean couldn't leave the board. So he's doing a little bit. He helped me with social media. He ran around here and took pictures.
That's right. Yeah. That's another, I was going to say, that's another benefit of the all staff is getting some of content for the social media out there.
Aiden does a little bit of everything, but we are very open to and hiring or trying to find opportunities for everyone. And just to give you an example, Oscar, our other intern, is related to or a friend of Zulma's.
Right.
And Oscar started out as a summer intern, and he stayed on last summer and last Christmas and this summer, but he stayed on and is working part-time this week while he finishes up his degree.
Right.
Or this year, excuse me.
So there's a bunch of flexibility. And that was part of your, just to go full circle onto your, what do we call it? Your seminar yesterday?
My TED Talk.
Your little TED Talk, right?
My informal TED Talk.
Your Focus Data Solutions TED Talk, where you're talking about how you created Focus Data Solutions and the image that you had and how you wanted to have flexibility and that just kind of goes to that testament of even if you are finishing up your degree or you can't necessarily work full time, that we're going to find roles and that you can
absolutely
insert yourself and be productive and
it does my heart good, to use a very old saying, it does my heart good to be able to give people opportunities to go where they want to go and be who they want to be.
Right.
And that's really important to me, and it just I like it when we can do that.
Well, I think that's a pretty good note to end on.
All right.
If you're fine with that.
I'm fine with that. You're the producer, the writer, and the executive, and the director. So.
Yeah, we have a little quasi setup going on
I'm
here.
impressed.
So, hopefully we're able to get the imaging plus the sound, but it might be an audio only podcast. It might.
If it is, everybody tune in and listen and tell Paul what you think.
There you go. Yeah, I hope that everybody, the feedback would be greatly appreciated, and I know that Elizabeth she's been kind enough to be here today, but I know that she's probably going to be on a couple more episodes leading up to this. Hopefully we can get Paige on a couple more and continue to ramp this up. And now that I have this little setup in my office right now, which I recently moved offices since the last time that we recorded, but last time that we recorded, we were up in Paige's office. So we're going to be continuously playing around with it. So bear with us. Right.
Well, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's been an episode of Behind the Logo. Please tune in to our next one. Like, share, follow, suggestions, anything. We're open to it. This is a work in progress. But until next time.
All right, thanks.
Cool. Hit that. Do some last final checks. Okay, that's looking good.
So I'm trying to project like I'm talking to you. How does that look?
Okay, your mic is not picking up as much as mine is.
Oh my god, that thing's heavy. Okay. So if we do it that way, how is that?
That's fine.
Does that work? Pick it up better?
Yeah, I think that works fine. Make sure that this is going good too.
Decide how I'm going to sit.
Decide how you're going to sit.
I don't know.
Good. I guess because we need a mic, I feel like closer to you.
Well, do you want it right here?
Keep talking.
Do you want it like where my finger is, or where?
It depends. It just depends on how loud you talk.
How loud I talk. So
it might be better if it's in front of you, like more in front.
All right. So how's that?
That works fine.
And the mic is working and it's picking up, and I'm talking loudly enough without sounding like I'm shouting at you on the other side of the room.
I think that should be fine.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Let's do this.